Greetings to my future Bio 102 students. My name is Seo, and I will be your guide and your teacher through Biology 102. And this is a general biology course where we will be learning about science and biology and the discipline as a whole. So it's going to have a really broad diversity of subjects. It's going to be very interesting, and I think this is a great opportunity for you as a student to learn about the ways that biology and science can connect you to your home and the things that you see around your local environment. So this is an online course, and you knew that when you signed up because this has been an online course the whole time. So it does have some implicit requirements that you have access to internet. You have some devices like either a cell phone, a tablet, a desktop, or a laptop. You also have to be somewhat tech savvy in order to navigate the course, but most of the course, if not all of the course, will be presented through Canvas, and that's an online learning platform that Diablo Valley College uses to do its online teaching. So if you're not already familiar with Canvas, that's something you want to get familiar with as soon as possible. So this introductory video, I'm sending this out before the class starts so that I can kind of introduce myself and give you an idea of what to expect as we approach the semester. My teaching philosophy when it comes to online teaching is really to deliver the student the best of both worlds. All of the benefits of having an online format with all of the benefits of having a lecture format and combining those two things. So what do I mean by that? One of the greatest things about online teaching is that you can pause the teacher and you can rewind the teacher. When the teacher says something that you don't understand and you need to hear it again, you can always just go back. Maybe you zone out, you check out for a second, and you don't catch something. Well, in-person teaching, you can't always go back and catch what you missed. Well, online teaching you can, but that means that I have to record these lectures as videos. So that's kind of my agreement with you as a student, is that I'm going to try to record all of my lectures as videos and have those available to you so that you can always pause and rewind and rehear content that you feel like you missed. Another benefit in recording videos is that I can get rid of all the pauses, all the dead time, all the dead space. One of my pet peeves as a student was all that dead time when I was sitting there either having to be in class and nothing was really happening, or we were doing logistical things and I was having to wait around a lot. Well, we can cut all of that out, and I can just give you information, lectures, and really make it pure and really just pure information, which is great. It also means that the information is going to be condensed, and so you might need to use that pause button quite a bit, but that's okay. And so that's kind of for me a benefit. Another benefit is that I can visually take you to a lot of different locations and present a lot of information in really diverse ways, and that's really cool. I can take this tablet out to the desert and show you things in person that we couldn't do that in class. I couldn't conceivably take all 60 students out on field trips every class to demonstrate things. So that's very cool, and that's something that we can do with this online format. Another thing I really like about online formats is that you can have asynchronous classes. You don't have to have class at the same time every week. So this is going to be asynchronous. You can complete the assignments up to the deadlines. That being said, I will only answer technical difficulty questions and address those issues more than 24 hours ahead of deadlines. So if your internet and computer isn't working, you need to get that figured out before the deadline, because if you wait till the last second, then you won't get any leeway there. So having a flexible time schedule is really a great thing. But one of the issues that creeps up with that is that there's some accountability issue with yourself and with me with you, in that you can always put it off. So you really need to set time aside for this class. I will be checking that you are spending the time on these assignments and these videos that is needed. Some of these lectures are like an hour long, hour and a half long, and so I need to see that you watch the whole video and you watch the entire lecture in order to get all the points for that. But with that is an implicit value for your time. I will be giving you points as you watch those lectures. Every 5 minutes, you'll be paused and you'll be asked a question. So you're not just watching these videos and not getting any reward for that, not getting any points, and it really does benefit your grade. And so you do need to set time aside every week, and we will be having anywhere from an hour to 2 hours of lecture content per week. And that's just watching the videos. That's not accounting for the time for answering the questions. So that to me is a fair condensed version of the information we would be getting in person. Because when you take my class, if you've taken my classes in person, you know that the entire 1.5 hours I'm not lecturing solid information the way these videos are. We're definitely having some questions, and we have some time when we're vibing and talking about examples in your own lives and things like that. So if you were to condense all the information, I think we'd have about an hour and a half of solid lecture content per week. And that's what I'm going to try to give you through video and through Canvas, and that's how you'll access it. As far as our labs go, I will also try to provide you with video-based like mini lectures when needed in labs, and we're going to try to do activities that you can accomplish in your home or in your neighborhood. And to do that, you'll have to find different examples and explore these examples maybe in your kitchen. I might ask that you go to the grocery store and buy a certain vegetable or some kind of produce or go gather some item from outside so that you can look at that through a scientific lens. So that's something you should expect. You might have to go outside and go for a walk, find a leaf or something like that in order to explore biological diversity that's coming from your neighborhood and from your home, maybe even from your backyard. So in order to do that, we're going to need some equipment, and you're going to need some things, and we'll talk about that in a second. But as far as the benefits to online versus the benefits to in-person, one of the benefits to teaching in person is that we get to have rapport. So I can talk to students in real time, and we can discuss examples from your own life and connect those things. And I really value that, and I enjoy that, and I think that's very important in learning. And so to keep that, we will be having on Fridays a voluntary Zoom group meeting. And so that's an opportunity for you to ask questions about content from earlier in the week that maybe you weren't clear on. So maybe during the lecture there's some concept that you didn't understand. Well, if it was only video lecture, you can't really ask that question very easily. And if you do, it's hard for other students to benefit from that. So this way, on Fridays during those voluntary Zoom group meetings, you can ask that question. Other students can hear that question, hear my answer, and you can get some feedback directly from me as far as what I think would help you the best. And so some of the reason why I make this voluntary is because some of you as students might not require that. Some of you might do very well to work on your own and are good self-learners that can just read a textbook and do the assignments and gain insight that way. And that's great. You don't necessarily have to meet up on these voluntary group Zoom meetings, but some of you might really enjoy learning directly from somebody that you know is listening to you, and that's a whole another thing. And so you have the option. So if you benefit from that, you have both. So we'll learn the material, the content, the lecture content during the week, and you'll be evaluated on your during that with questions during the lecture. And then if you have more questions or you want to talk about concepts or listen to more information about the lecture, you can do that on a voluntary basis on Fridays. And so that's kind of how I would like to structure the full semester. And that's how we're going to run the semester. It's a lecture and then a lab And then on Fridays, you can check into this group meeting to ask questions if that's something that you feel like you need. I'm also moving away from weighting a lot of points on midterms and finals. So midterms and finals, to me, tend to create this kind of like unbalanced distribution of points during the semester. Well, we're going to distribute those points throughout these activities, throughout these lecture assignments, throughout your lab activities. So that way, when you do have a midterm or when you do have a midterm or final, that's going to be a smaller point value exercise. And a lot of times I ask you to explain concepts and to connect concepts that you've learned in a creative way. So I might give you an example, like give you a hypothetical scenario. You're walking through a forest and you witness this thing, and I'll ask you to explain what's happening using the tools that you've learned during that portion of the class. And so that to me is the purpose of the midterm and the final, is to make sure that all of these concepts are tools that you can use to explain situations that you might encounter in your daily life. So that's kind of my ethos when it comes to how this class will be led. That's how we'll go through this class. I really want you to gain a fluency in science and a fluency in biology that is that you can communicate using your own voice. To me, that's very important. And I think that science and biology, for a long time, have been kind of interpreted even in our own minds through a voice that's not our own. And so by the end of this class, I'd like to be able to have these kinds of conversations with you just in a very relatable way about science and biology, because, you know, science and biology has no voice. We give it voice, so why not yours? So as far as materials go, we're going to have a textbook, and that textbook, I'm using the OpenStax textbook. This is an open source textbook. The textbook is available free. You can go to the OpenStax website and download a PDF. You can download the app. It has an app version of it, not an ebook, but like an actual app where you can navigate the chapters through the app. That's really cool, and that's on iOS and on Android. You can also download the Kindle e-reader. That's an app for Kindle books, and you can download that on your phone or on your device, and then download the textbook onto the app for free through Amazon, so you can get it that way. You can also just order the book on Amazon, the hard copy. It's not expensive. This is it. It's Concepts of Biology. The OpenStax got this really old school looking cover. It's kind of cool. This hard copy is like $30, and then the soft copy is like $24 or something like that. So they're pretty inexpensive as far as textbooks go. And I like this way of teaching, and I like this textbook because it's open source, it's free. If you lost your textbook, you can always just grab any old phone and download the app and access the textbook anytime from anywhere. That's one of the benefits of online learning. But if you need the hard copy, they sell that too. And it's the textbook's pretty good. It's dry, which is great because that gives us opportunity to fill in information with examples. And so that's the textbook we'll be using. We will be using a laboratory manual, and that's a rough, we're letting that loosely guide our laboratory experiences. Some of these labs we're not going to be able to do the way that it's described in the lab manual, so we're going to have to change things around. But as we do that, we're going to loosely follow labs that are in this lab manual, and that's the Fundamentals of Biology. It's a Biology 102 laboratory manual. You can find that also on Amazon and download that as an ebook. It's $9.99, and you'll be able to upload that onto your device using the Kindle app. So I'm going to outline all of this much clearer on a list during the first week of class. So the first week of class, we're going to gather all these materials, and I'm going to give you time to kind of understand the class format without having actual graded lectures and things like that. It's just going to be like how we're going to run the class. Another thing you will need is a digital microscope, and you can order one of these online wherever you might find it. I just ask that it's a digital microscope. It's not, you don't want to just use your phone and zoom in. This has a much higher capacity and ability to zoom in, which is awesome. But this digital microscope cost, I think this one was like 30 bucks. Some of them are like 50, anywhere from 30 to 50, around there. So this is a hard cost. This is something you will have to buy. But what's cool about this is that you will be able to use it after class, and you can use it to explore the world of microscopic things, tiny little things. You can look at insects very up close, frighteningly up close. You can look at like the tissues on a leaf. These are ways we will be using it. You can, of course, look at your own face and scare yourself or do whatever you want to do, but it's a really fun scientific tool that we are going to use this semester to explore the biological diversity on a microscopic level, on a microscopic scale around you. And this doesn't zoom in so hard that you can see things like bacteria, but it definitely helps you get a closer look at a lot of stuff that it's really hard to see with the naked eye. So a digital microscope, this is the one I chose. It connects to my phone using an app, using Wi-Fi, and it's rechargeable, and a little tool, a little experience that will hopefully take the place of the in-lab microscopes that we won't have access to this semester. But at least this microscope you can take home, or you can keep it basically after the semester. You will need, of course, you'll need some kind of digital device like a cell phone or a tablet or a computer. I recommend having access to at least a computer, a laptop, and a cell phone at all times. I will be asking that you upload photographs that you collect. So some of your lab activities will require you to find examples of things or demonstrate your ability to find things like in your kitchen or in your backyard. And so when you do that, you have to take a picture of it. So you use your phone to take a picture, and you can upload that on Canvas. And that's kind of like my way of holding you accountable for doing the activity. But it's also a way for you to make a checkpoint in your understanding of the material. Yes, you understand the anatomy of the shoot system in this plant because you took a picture of it, and you'll label it and things like that. So that's kind of the way we're going to kind of move through the semester. It's a mix of the lecture content and doing those activities with these laboratory activities where you'll be, rummaging around your house or maybe buying certain specific groceries, which should be very inexpensive. I'm very mindful of cost, so you might need a vegetable here and there, or you might have to gather a piece of material from outside in your backyard or in the neighborhood, things like that. So you'll have to do things like that. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt, really, for your lab. And then on Fridays, you have the ability to connect with the class in a group setting. One last thing as far as like group settings goes, I do have a group chat for the whole class. I make a group chat on GroupMe, and that's a chat that you can join. You don't have to, but I really, really highly recommend that you join up with that group chat. And a lot of emails I send out, I'll follow up on the group chat. And a lot of times y'all will have questions, and you can ask it in that group forum before Friday. You can just ask me anytime, and during the week I can get back to you really quickly, and other students can also benefit from that question because they can see your response. And sometimes other students will actually answer the question for me, so I don't even have to answer the question, but I will check and say that's right. That's GroupMe, and I will explain how to use that app later. There's some more details in the email that I've included about accessibility, about how to reach me. If you have any other questions, of course you can reach me through email, and I'll do my best to get back at you. Essentially, the goal here is to streamline your experience as a student and take the best of both worlds and make learning efficient, relatable, and something that's very accessible, something that you don't need to drive far away to learn about science. You don't need to go very far. You can just learn from where you're at, and using tools that either you already have or are cheaply available. And so that's all I have for you for now. I will see you all and meet you all soon using Canvas and using Zoom and on the GroupMe. And this is my first fully online semester, so I don't get to meet any of you face to face, and you won't be required at any point during the semester to be face to face. One of my priorities is to make sure that you're able to fully fulfill the class requirements without having to put yourself in any kind of risk of COVID or anything like that. So it's great to meet you all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to this, and I will see you on the internet, through Canvas, through whatever lens. See you then.